Karanam Nabami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Welcome to lesson 12 of Sri Rudram. We will be covering Anuvakam 8 today. And as usual, we will review the last lesson, what we did in lesson 11. We, as usual, practiced Ganapati Dhyana Slokam. We learned Anuvakam 7 of Namakam with the intonations and meanings. And we completed Anuvakam 7. So today, in lesson 12, our goals are to again start with Ganapati Dhyana Slokam, begin with Anuvakam 8 of Namakam. And this Anuvakam is very specially important, and therefore I want to say a few words about the importance of this Anuvakam. As usually know the meanings of all the key words in this Anuvakam. And I'm not sure if there will be time, but time permitting, we can probably learn Anuvakam 9. So that covers our goals for today. So let's start with the Dhyana Slokam, Ganapati Slokam. Om Gananantva Ganapatikam Havamake Kavim Kavinanu Pavastavastamam Jetarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anasrinvan Odibisida Sadanam Om Mahaganadipataye Namaha. Now, I ask you to repeat this every time because this is really a key slokam and you should know the right intonation. And it is good that you practice it, and you can also recite it whenever there is a ritual. So going further, Anuvakam 8. I said this Anuvakam is especially important because you have the 4 Vedas, and out of the 4 Vedas, the Yajur Veda is really the central part. It is of central importance. And in Yajur Veda, you have different cantams, as they call it. And out of this, Yajur Veda itself is a very big one. In Yajur Veda, you have different cantams, and then there is a central cantam, which is the 4th cantam. You have the 4th cantos, as they call it in English. That happens to be central. And that's 4th cantos. The 5th chapter is again central. So right in the 5th chapter is the Rudra Prashnam. So this is really central to the Vedas. And it is assuming special importance because this particular Anuvakam contains the Shiva Panchakshari Mantram. Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya. These are 5 letters. Those 5 letters appear in this Anuvakam. And therefore, this Anuvakam is very, very important. And in fact, when you go into public Sri Rudram recitation, when this Anuvakam comes, They will even have the Shankam, Shankanadam will be there when it comes to Om Namah Shivaya, to highlight the importance of the Panchakshari Namam. So that's why this Anuvakam is particularly important. And we are going to learn about this today. What I will do today is I will recite this Anuvakam, and then we will explain the meanings of each word as usual. Namas Somaya cha Rudraya cha namastambraya charunaya cha namas Shankaya cha Pasupataye cha namo Ugraya cha Bhimaya cha Agre Vataya cha Dure Vataya cha namahantre cha Haniyase cha namo Vrikshebhyo Harikeshebhyo namastaraya namashambhave cha Mayobhave cha namah Shankaraya cha Mayaskaraya cha namah Shivaya cha Shivataraya cha. Is one suktam. Totally, this Anuvakam has got 13 lines, divided into two parts. The first part is what we recited now. The second part, Namastitaya cha Kulyaya cha Namaparya cha Varyaya cha Namaprataranaya cha Attaranaya cha Namo Ataryaya Chaladhyaya cha Nama Shashpyaya cha Fenyaya cha Nama Sikatyaya cha Pravakyaya cha. That is the second part. So really, it's a short Anuvakam, but it is filled with so much of philosophy in it that it is a delight to not only recite it, but also to know the meanings. So let's take the first line. Namas Somaya cha. What does Somaya cha mean? It means really Sa Umaya Sahavartatihi. Sa Umaya. Now, Shiva is always with Uma, his consort. In fact, if any of you who know Saundarya Lahari might recall the very first verse in that. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yati Bhavati Saktaha Prabhavitum Nache Devam Devo Nakalu Kusalas Pantutam Atastva Maradhyam Harigara Virinchati Birapi Pranantum Sotumba Katamakrita Panya Prabhavati Shiva Shaktya Yukto. They are always together. What are you, Shiva, without Shakti? So when we worship Shiva, it's always along with Uma Devi. Saha Uma. So the name Somaya comes as Saha Uma. Some people keep the name like Somasekar, Somasundaram. These are all coming from Saha Uma. So worship is always done together with Uma. And Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prati Trilochanam Neelakantham. This is a slokam which comes from the Kaivalya Upanishad. There also they stress about Uma and Maheshwara being together. They are not separate, and that's why you have the Ardhanarishwara also, where Uma is a part of Shiva. So, Namas Somaya cha. Somaya cha refers to Shiva with Uma. Somaya cha Rudraya cha. Rudra, as you know, is the one who wipes away our sorrows. Sorrows of samsara. So Rudra has got many meanings, but in this particular case, it's something to do with one who removes our sorrows. Namastambraya cha. You know this rising sun, when you see, now it is summer, you can watch the sun early in the morning, you get the crimson red color when it comes in the morning, very first thing, crimson red, like tamra, copper they say, no? Tamram refers to copper, it's copper color. So he rises as tamraya cha, in that crimson color. Cha arunaya cha. Charunaya cha is actually split into cha arunaya cha. Aruna refers again to the sun, but in orange color. You know, a little later, after the sun rises, you can see the color changing. It is not bright crimson red, but it becomes something like an orange color. It's also called Dinakaran. Dinakaran means Dinakaran. He makes the day. He makes the day for us. So he appears in that form. Cha arunaya cha. Going further, Namashangaya cha pasupataye cha. Namashangaya, it is Shanga. Shanga. Sam gamanaya iti. Like I mentioned about Shankara, Shankara, Samskritam. Sam is good, auspicious. Karam means one who does. Shankaram. Here, Shangaya cha. Gamanam. Gamanaya means to go or lead. Shangaya cha refers to one who leads us to auspiciousness. One who leads us to happiness, auspiciousness. Nabashangaya cha pasupataye cha. Pasupataye is the Lord of all living beings. All. It doesn't mean only cow or animals, but it refers to the entire gamut of living beings. Pasupataye cha, protector of all beings. Naba ugraya cha bhimaya cha. Ugra, very harsh, very aggressive. On whom? On enemies. On enemies. Bhimaya cha. Bhima itself means one who causes fear in the minds of someone. Scares away. Just merely looking at him, people get frightened. That kind of a person is called Bhima. And the Panchapandavas, one was called Bhima, as you know. So here, Bhimaya cha, one who scares away and causes fear in the minds of enemies. Nabo agre vadaya cha, dure vadaya cha. Agre vadaya cha. Agre means in the front. In Hindi, you say aage, right? Aage jana. It's actually derived from agre. Agre is in the front. Agre vadaya cha means one who kills you right, facing you in front. Like Rama killed Ravana facing him directly. That's a mark of a warrior, that he confronts the enemy directly. So he is in the form of one who confronts or kills right in the front, appearing in the front. The next very word, he says, cha dure vadaya cha. Dure vadaya is one who kills from distance, unseen. And what is that? First we say killing from the front, but then we say killing from a distance without being seen. No, those refers to the missiles and weapons, astrams. Shiva is the one who gave the Pasupata astram to Arjuna. Arjuna worshipped for Pasupata astram. So these astrams, you can say, I want to strike this particular target. like modern day missiles which are made to strike at a particular point. These astrams can strike a desired target without the missile driver being seen. Who launches a missile, we don't know. You don't see him. But the missile will go and strike. So he appears also in that form of being unseen and be able to create a disaster or kill from a distance. So nabo agre vadaya cha, dure vadaya cha. Now this does not mean only physical enemies. When you say enemies, there are physical enemies, but also unseen enemies. It's all there within us. What are those enemies? They are all people who work against your welfare. Greed, lust, jealousy, anger. These are all enemies within us. So when you recite Rudram, these enemies get killed, even though they don't see who is killing them. So that's a philosophical significance here. Agre vadaya cha, dure vadaya cha. Going further. Nabo hantre cha haniyase cha. Hantre cha haniyase cha. Hantre means, Hantra itself is killing. Here it is, destroyer of all enemies. Hantre cha haniyase is destroyer of all when the pralayam comes. Shiva is known to be the destroyer, but he not only destroys all enemies, but when a pralayam kalam comes, samharam, he is samhara murti. So at that time, irrespective of who, he kills everybody. Pralayam. So, hantre cha haniyase cha. The next line says, Nabo vrikshebhyo harikeshebhyo. Nabo vrikshebhyo harikeshebhyo. We have heard this before. Vriksham means tree, one who manifests himself as tree and also as the leaves of those trees. Here again, samsaram itself is considered a vriksham, and the leaves are all considered as karmas, our activities. So he manifests himself as a tree having those leaves, manifests himself in samsaram with karmas as the leaves. Namastaraya cha. No, this is a very important word. It's alone, namastaraya. Tara refers to the pranava nadam. Om. Shiva is a pranava swarupi. It's a Brahman. The literal meaning of Tara in Sanskrit is high sound, excellent, shining. Taraya Namaha. It refers to the primordial sound, the sound which emanated first. Pranava Mantram. Now, it's also called Taraka Mantram. There are only two Taraka Mantrams. One is Om. The other one is Ramanamam. Ramanamam is also called Taraka Mantram. Now, when you go to a temple, you are able to see the idol and then you worship. But for Taraka Mantram, like Om, you don't need anything. You can go and sit in a corner and recite Om or Rama without disturbing anybody. You don't need any idol. And it will quieten your mind. Try reciting it. Go and sit in a room in a corner and say Om or Rama very quietly, and it will quieten your mind. If you are disturbed, you can try that. There is no need of any idol. So this is, such an important term referring to the primordial sound of pranam. Those of you who are fond of music, Tyagaraja Swamigal, he sang so many kirtanas on Rama, but he's also sung kirtanas on Shiva and Ambal. Some of you may recall one beautiful song, composition called Nada Tanumanisam Sankaram Nada Tanumanisam Sankaram Namamitam Manasa Sirasa Nada Tanumanisam. This is set in a raga called Chitta Ranjani. It is so pleasing to the mind, Chitta Ranjani Ragam. And Tyagaraja Swami, he talks about the Nadatani, the Nadam that emanated from Shankaram. That Shankaram, I worship him with my mind and my head I bow to him. Sirasa Namami. Such a beautiful composition. That speaks of Namastaraya. Namastaraya. There are so many such songs, In Tamil, you got also this Arunachal, Tirupuhar. Tirupuhar, which says, Nada Vindu Kaladi Namo Namo. Very first line. Nada Vindu Kaladi Namo Namo. Nada Vindu. So this is actually referring to that Namam. And interestingly, if you see the slide, by the side of Namastaraya, we have that Om in big shape. Om. So it refers to really that Om. Okay. Going further. Nabashambhavecha Mayobhavecha. Shambhave. It is referring to the one who created the spread of happiness, creator of happiness in this world. Sambhavam means an incident, but here it refers to one who has created the happiness in this world. Karma phaladata, one who gives you the happiness in return for your karmas. Mayo bhavecha, not only in this world, mayo bhave means he also provides the happiness in the other world. Mayo bhavecha. Namashankaraya cha, mayaskaraya cha. Very easy for you. Shankara, Samkara. 2 words. One who does good. That is the meaning of Shankara. Mayaskaraya cha. Maya refers to the other world. Not only one who does good in this world, but also does good in the other world. Namashankaraya cha, mayaskaraya cha. Now comes the most important, the Panchakshara Mantram, and that is why this Anuvakam is considered very important, as I told you earlier. It is time that they blow the conch. Namah Shivaya cha. Shiva, as you know, means auspiciousness, Mangalam. One who removes all the Papa Karmas. But this is the heart of Sri Rudram. The heart. No, you can live without limbs, but you cannot live without the heart. So this is really Jiva Ratnam, as you call. Jiva Ratnam, which is the central portion, the very core of Sri Rudram. Now, there are a lot of Puranas which talk about Shiva's greatness. And it is not surprising they talk about Shiva's greatness because they are intended to be Shiva Puranas. But Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam has more than 100,000 slokas, 4 times bigger than Ramayana. It talks about Bhagavan, mainly Sri Vishnu. But in that, in the 4th chapter, there is a discourse between Dakshayani and her father Dakshan. Dakshayani was the wife of Shiva, and Dakshan was her father, Shiva's father-in-law. But Dakshan hated his son-in-law. Not surprising. But in this particular case, Dakshan was conducting a big yajnam in which he did not even invite his own daughter and son-in-law. But despite objection from Shiva, Dakshayani went to her father's place, thinking that her father will receive her and will treat her courteously. Instead, Dakshan did not even look at her. He did not even look, and he ignored her completely, and Dakshayani felt so sad. She gives him a piece of advice, and there is one slokam there, very, very beautiful slokam, which is coming in the 4th chapter. Yad dvayaksharam nama gireritam rinam. Yad dvayaksharam. Those 2 letters. What 2 letters? Shiva. Yad dvayaksharam nama gireritam rinam. Gire means to speak. The 2 words which are spoken. Rinam. Rinam covers anyone. No bar about caste or creed. Anyone. Anyone can say Shiva. You can be a Brahmin, you can be a Kshatriya, you can be a Vaishya, anyone can say Shiva. So, Gireritam Dranam. Dranam covers everybody. Yad Dvayaksharam Nama Gireritam Dranam. Sakrit Prasangat Agam Ashuhu Hantihi Tat. Agam. Sakrit Prasangat. Even casually you mention, not necessarily with a view to worship. Just casually you say Shiva. If somebody is called Shiva Subramanyam, you call Shiva. Or you can even casually say Shiva by any other means. Even that Sat Prasangat, Sakrit Prasangat, very casual way you say Shiva. Agam Ashuhu Hanti Tat. Agam means sin. Ashuhu means quickly, immediately. I think I mentioned about Ashutosh earlier. One who gets happy very quickly. Ashu is quick. Agam Ashuhu Hantihi Tas. It gets destroyed instantly. Those 2 words. Shiva. Namah Shivaya cha. There is Shivaya. Namah Shivaya has got Panchaksharam, at least 5 letters. You don't have to even take the trouble of saying all the 5 letters. Even if you say Dvayaksharam, which is only 2, Shiva, that itself is adequate to destroy your sins instantly. Now, this is a beautiful 2 lines which come in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, which is actually praising Sri Vishnu, but in that it talks about the greatness of the name of Shiva. So this particular Panchaksharam is coming in this particular Anuvakam, right in the center. Namah Shivaya cha, Shivataraya cha. Shivataraya cha is one who gives lasting happiness. Lasting happiness. So, whenever you have time, recite this Anuvakam. It's very good. Namah Shivaya cha Shivataraya cha. Going further to the 2nd suttam. Namastitaya cha Kulyaya cha. Namastitaya cha. Tirtham, you know, is water. But here, Tirtham is really referring to the holy places like Banaras or Varanasi, Allahabad, Triveni. Not just water, but he also appears in those holy places. Namastitaya cha Kulyaya cha. Kulyaya cha refers to all those idols which are which are installed on the river banks. You know, you have in the river bank, there are so many temples and so many installs. So he appears in those form also of idols, not only at the holy place of holy water, but also in those idols which are installed. And that's the reason why I think a lot of people, millions of them, flock to the river banks and worship all those temples which are located there. Nama paryaya cha varyaya cha. It is actually paryaya cha avaryaya. Ye comes there. Avaryaya cha. Nama paryaya cha. One who helps you to go to the other side of the river, which is the other side of samsara. Avaryaya cha. One who also exists in this side of living samsara. Both sides of the bank. One side you have within samsara, and one who is outside samsara. Samsara being considered as a waterfront. Nava prataranaya cha uttaranaya cha. You say it together. Nama prataranaya cha uttaranaya cha. Prataranaya is, he also exists in the form of rituals. Rituals to purify oneself. When you do Sandhya Vandanam or you do a puja or whatever, he also exists in that rituals to purify oneself. Cha uttaranaya cha. Uttaranaya cha is gross ignorance. There are people who don't do rituals, who are not really very intelligent, they are not knowledgeable. He also appears as those people. Uttaranaya cha. He shows the magnanimous Rudram, who appears not only amongst the intelligent one, but also less intelligent one. Gross ignorance. And he actually makes them intelligent through his own benevolence. Nava atharyaya cha aladhyaya cha. Nava atharyaya cha aladhyaya cha. Atharyaya refers to the rebirth. One who causes the jivan to be reborn and to enter the life here. Chaladhyaya, chaladhyaya cha. One who causes the experience of the effect of karma. You know, we all believe in rebirth. We also believe that karmas lead you into a type of life. It gives you the impact in your life. So he is the one who is the karma phaladata. One who determines the kind of effect that karmas have on you. Going further, Nama shashpyaya cha fenyaya cha. Shashpya is refers to the tender grass, shashpya. Fenyaya cha is the river when it flows, there is a foam you get, you know. It refers to the foam. Fenyaya cha. He also appears as the foam in those rivers. The salutations to such a person who appears in tender grass and also in the foam of rivers. Namasikkatyaya cha pravahyaya cha. Namasikkatyaya. Sikat is referring to the sand, you know. The river flows, you also have sand. He also appears in those sand. And pravahyaya cha. Pravaham means the river is flowing. What causes the river to flow? Maybe gravity, but then who is gravity? The flow is also caused by the Lord. So again in this Anuvakam you find Shiva is described in various forms. Some of them may found to be disconnected. But then the point is that he appears in so many variety of forms. In the form of even foam on a river, in the form of flow, in the form of idols, in the form of rivers, in the form of the holy places, in the form of rituals. So everywhere, in all those forms, we offer our salutations, Namaha, Namaha, Namaha. So with that, we complete Anuvakam 8 of Namakam. I think we have time for Anuvakam 9. Let's see if we can do that. Let me close this presentation and go to the next one. Stay on. Yeah, I'm getting the screen now. So listen, this is lesson 13. We'll skip the first two slides. Nama irinyaya cha prapatsyaya cha. Nama irinyaya cha prapatsyaya cha. Now this Anuvakam has got 17 lines, again in two suttams. Irinyaya, Irina means desert. It also appears in the desert, people who live in the desert. Prapatyaya cha. Pat is path. Prapatyaya is great path. In the form of those who travel in the great path, which had maybe many impediments or potholes. Prapatyaya cha. Namakihum shilaya cha. Path full of shila means stone. You know, shila in temples we have the idols made of stone. We call shilai. Kihum shilaya is small stones, pebble stones. A path full of pebble stones. Namakihum shilaya cha chayanaya cha. Chayana is those who are in comfortable dwellings. They are all perfectly fine. They don't have a problem. Kihum shilaya cha chayanaya cha. Going further, Namakhabartine cha pulastaye cha. Namakhabartine. Khabartine is matted hair. Shiva, he is having matted hair. The one who appears with his matted hair. Pulastaye cha. Pulastaye. Pulastaye is one who protects those devotees. As they offer the prayers, he continues to protect them and shows them the path. Pulastayecha. In other words, you can call it as Marga Bandhu. Some people even have the name as Marga Bandhu, no? One who shows the path. As a friend, he shows the path. Pulastayecha is one who is showing the path. And Namo Goshtaya Jaghyaya cha. Go means, of course, cows, you know. Goshtaya cha is one who protects the cows in the form of cow sheds. He also appears as cow shed to protect the cows. Grhyaya cha. Grhyaya is referring to houses, but really big houses, mansions, you can say. Grhyaya cha namastalpaya cha gehyaya cha. Namastalpaya cha gehyaya cha. Talpa, no? Talpa is referring to cot. It is cot. to help you sleep well. He also appears in the form of a cart who is helping you to sleep. Gehyaya cha. Gehyaya cha. Gehyaya cha is, guha becomes geh. Guha means what? Guha is, a cave. But here, the earlier one, Grihayacha, is the homes. Gehyayacha is big homes, big mansions. Talpayacha, Gehyayacha. I mentioned Grihyaya is a mansion, but Grihyaya is referring to homes. Gehyayacha is referring to big mansions. Namakatyayacha Gahvereshtyacha. Namakatyayacha Gahvereshtyacha. Katyayacha. In kata, you see in Hindi kata. Kata means thorn, right? So katyaya means bushy forests, having thorny woods. He also appears in that form. And this Gahvereshtyacha is the one referring to the guha. I made a mistake when I said Gehyayacha. This Gahvereshtyacha is the one referring to the caves. Gahve. In Bangalore, some of you might have seen, there is Shiva inside a cave. I forgot, I visited a long time ago. But there is a cave in which you have to crawl literally. Very, very small space you got. And there is a Shiva Lingam where they do Abhishekam. So one who also lives in those kind of caves, Gahvereshtyacha. Nabo Hridayayacha. Now here, this Namo is Dirgha Swarga. Namo Hridayayacha. You have to lift your voice a little bit there. Namo Hridayayacha. Here, Hridayayacha really referring to the deep waters. Waters like sea, where you have the animals like sharks and sea animals. He also appears in those. Namo Hridayayacha Niveshpyayacha. Niveshpyayacha is, Nivesh is small dew, what you see in the morning on the grass, small drops, Even in those drops he appears, Niveshpyayacha. Nama Pahum Savyayacha Rajasyayacha. Pahum is really dust. In Saundara Lavi, you have this slogam, Taniyam Sampamsum Tavacharana Pankeruha Bhavam. Taniyam Sampamsum. Pamsum refers to dust. He is actually in the form of dust also. Nobody will think that Lord exists in dust. But here it says he is also appearing in the form of dust. Pahum Savyayacha Rajasyayacha. It is something which is, you cannot think that he exists in small articles. This Rajasyayacha is including small atoms, something invisible, invisible dust. You can't see it. So appears in the form of dust and also invisible small elements. Going further, Nabashushkyayacha Harityayacha. Nabashushkyayacha Harityayacha. What is meant by Shushkya? Sukna. In Hindi you say Sukha ho gaya, right? What means dry. Shushkyayacha is referring to dry twigs, wood. Also appears as those dry woods. Small, dry twigs. Harityayacha, just the opposite, which is green wood. Appears in dry wood, also in green wood. Nabo lopyayacha lapyayacha. Namo lopyaya cha lapyaya cha. Lopyaya. Lopyaya is referring to hard floor, Absolute rocky, nothing can grow on it. Like you find concrete. You see the driveway, you have concrete, nothing really grows on it, it's cemented. It is dry and hard. So such a thing is called lopyayacha. Kattandara in Tamil. So lapyayacha. So lapyacha is actually the opposite of that, where is a marshy kind of land, It is very soft ground, and which has vegetation. So that is Cholapyayacha. Nama Urmyayacha Surmyayacha. Urmyayacha refers to all the minerals and yet whatever you get from earth, metals, oil, all that stuff. Urmyayacha Surmyayacha. Surmyayacha. Surmya is all forms of what you call waves, choppy waves like we have today in Lake Michigan. They say the waves will go up to 4 to 5 feet. Which drives them? I don't know. There is something which is driving them to rise 4 or 5 feet. Suddenly, in the morning news, they said that it's going to be 4 to 5 feet, and they want all the swimmers to be away and not to take a risk in jumping in the water. So he is appearing also in those forms of waves and surfs. Surmyayacha, Namaparnayacha, Parnasadhyayacha, Namaparnayacha, Parnasadhyayacha. Parnam means leaf. Some people even have the name Aparna, right? No leaf. There is a story behind it, but that's different. We are digressing. Parna, it appears in the form of leaves. Parna Satyaya, dry leaves. Not only green leaves, but also dry leaves, which eventually we use them for making manure or whatever. Nabo Paguramanaya cha Bignate chacha. Nabo Paguramanaya cha Bignate cha. Paguramanaya. Shiva Ganas, how they go, they have the weapons ready. If you see the war, battle scenes, the warriors go with raised weapons. They carry the sword or gun or whatever weapon they have. They are ready to strike. Paguramanaya refers to those with raised weapons. So Shiva appears in that form also of soldiers or Shiva Ganas with raised weapons. Cha Vignate cha. One who strikes at those enemies, the Ganas. Nama Akitate cha Prikitate cha. Akitate cha. Akitate means with having very little afflictions. Something where you can say that those who are not connected or not having bandhus, little afflictions. And prakitade is those which really are connected with certain incidents which give sorrow. Sudden upheavals, global upheavals, could be anything that is disturbing, like what happened this morning in Florida, some restaurant or some club. There was suddenly some shooting going on and then people didn't know what was happening. So it's a kind of upheaval. And he is also present in such upheavals as Shiva Ganas. Akitadecha, Prakitadecha. So these kind of incidents also he is present. That is the meaning of this particular 2 words. Namo Vakirikebhyo Devanahum Hridayebhyo. Nama Kirikebyo. Kirikebyo is providing prosperity to the devotees. Devanahum hridayebyo, existing in the heart of Devas. Devanahum hridayebyo. Namo vichinakebyo. Vichinakebyo means without having any end. Without having any end, he continues to provide the happiness to people. Namo vichinvatkebyo, fulfills your desires. Vichinvatkebyo. Nama anirhatebyo. Anirhatebyo is one who does not fail to give you results. He's guaranteed results. Guaranteed results. Nama amivatkebyaha. That's the last line, concluding line of Anuvakam 9. Nama amivatkebyaha. One who pervades everywhere. As a protector, as a punisher, and he's one who pervades everywhere. And in remaining in so many forms, some of them are so difficult to conceive. But nevertheless, Rudram says he is existing in all those forms. And everywhere, to all those forms, we offer our salutations, which is that Namo, 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 which is said. So with this Anuvakam, we complete the Namos. Next Anuvakam, you don't have Namo. So this prayer is really coming to an end with this Anuvakam. So let's quickly go through this Anuvakam. I am not going to recite it. Nama irinyaya cha prapatyaya cha nama krihum shilaya cha chayanaya cha nama kapartine cha pulastaye cha namo gotaya cha krhyaya cha nama talpyaya cha gehyaya cha nama katyaya cha vastakpe reshtaya cha namo hridayaya cha niveshpraya cha nama pahum savyaya cha rajasyaya cha nama shukyaya cha harityaya cha namo lopyaya cha alapyaya cha nama urmyaya surmyaya cha nama parnaya cha parna savyaya cha namo Pakurabhanaya cha vignate cha nama kizde cha prakizde cha namo kirikepyo devanakam kritayepyo nama vichinakepyo nama vichinvatkepyo nama anirkatepyo nama amivatkepyaha. So with that, we cover Anuvakam 8 and 9 today. So I'm going to unmute you all to ask any questions, and then we can go further. Okay? You can. There is an option of raising your hand also here, so that you can talk one by one. So you're unmuted right now.
Guruji, this is Balaji.
Yeah. Who is now calling?
Guruji, this is Balaji.
Yeah. Go ahead, Balaji.
Can you go to slide 6, Guruji, in this same presentation?
Which particular line?
Slide 6.
Slide 6.
6.
On this Anuvakam 9 or 8?
Yeah, Anuvakam 9. Anuvakam 9, slide 6.
9. Okay, slide 6. I'm going to that. Okay, right now I've got the Anuvakam.
No, I'm sorry. I think it was slide 7.
7, is it? Okay, 7. Yeah. I got 7. Is it right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The last line, how do we pronounce it, Guruji? Because in Sanskrit, I think it says Pagam Shvaya Cha.
Actually, it is pronounced as Namo Pahum Savyaya Cha Rajasyaya Cha. It is, even Gananantva, you have got this, it's kind of Ga, but when it comes to pronunciation, you say Pahum Savyaya Cha.
Okay.
Nama Pahum Savyaya Cha Rajasyaya Cha.
Okay. That's all I had, Guruji. Thank you.
Okay. Nama Pahum, as I mentioned, actually, there is a way of putting that gum, which is not, I think the font was not available. It goes like a Chandra, with a dot on it. If you see the books, you will find that.
Yes, Guruji. Because in the book I have, it shows us that who with one om on that
Right.
on the
That
start.
font probably was not available, therefore you've got a different font here.
Okay. Pagum Swaya.
Okay.
Yes, Guruji. Thank you.
All right. Let's see who else is Amreshwar.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, I'm good today.
Okay, Chakri.
Yeah, I had like the same question that Balaji had. Like I noticed that on few slides that you had that guy and you pronounced the star. So
Right. Okay. Chakri, I'm so happy that you are attending regularly now, and I hope you are practicing at home. Okay.
yes, Guruji. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Rama.
No, Guruji. Actually, the same kind of, I think we all have the same kind of question. When you look at the text, it looks something, but when you are reciting, we feel a little different. So,
Okay.
So those kind of questions. But I'm following Telugu text. I see a Sanskrit here.
Yeah.
So when I have any conflict with one of the word in Telugu, when I look at Sanskrit, I feel that like it is much better. Like where I have where
in Sanskrit, there are in some books, I find some mistakes in Sanskrit, and you have to be careful to make sure that you got a very authentic book. Okay. There are so many of these publications now being sold by the shops, but some of them may not be accurate.
Correct. So Sanskrit, I have Mantra Pushpam.
Okay, Mantra Pushpam very good. Mantra Pushpam very good.
For in Telugu, I have a Saspara Veda Mantralu, which is sold by Ramakrishna Mutt.
Okay. You know, in Lemon Temple last year when they had the Sri Rudram, they sold a book. It was, I think, costing $15, and that's a very good book.
Oh, okay.
An excellent book. It is all in Sanskrit, and somebody has done a great job there. So, if those of you, if you can get a copy of it from Lemon Temple, it's still on sale. It's a green-colored book, and that's a very good book if you can buy it.
Okay. And also this 8th Anuvakam, you said the Panchakshari Askars, right? This is where when we attended Maharudram,
yes,
every time they were chanting 11 times,
right.
Especially when they come to 8th Anuvakam,
yes.
they were giving Harati and they were like blowing Shankam and Damrukam and everything.
You are right. They will do special Harati at that time because it's a very important Anuvagam. And therefore, special rituals are also conducted along with blowing the conch and all that. Okay?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it, Guruji.
No, thank you. I'm good. I think I've had the same questions, but I think I'm very clear.
Sriram, you're going to India, are you?
No, I'm not going to India. My family is coming back.
All right.
Lavani and kids are coming back today, actually.
Okay. What about Vinay? Vinay, are you there? Okay. So I think no one has questions.
Guruji, one more question.
And we have only 2 more Anuvagams to go, 10 and 11 in the Namakam part, and we'll see how best to cover them in our next class. Okay.
Guruji, just one more question. Sorry, this is Balaji again.
Parvati Pataye Har Mahadeva.